Pakistan is about to get a fresh supply of American firepower, the AIM-120 AMRAAM, one of the most advanced air-to-air missiles in the world. It's a deal worth billions, born out of quiet corridors and loud ambitions. Signed off under Trump's watch, this isn't just about missiles. It's about momentum. It's about a Washington-Islamabad reboot, sealed in smoke trails and signatures. But as Pakistan leans on China for almost every screw and sensor in its defense ecosystem, the question burns brighter. Is America arming a friend or feeding its rival through the back door? Is Trump selling America's security? And is China going to be the big gainer in this strategic war? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. For Pakistan, this deal is a dream dressed in stars and stripes, a validation after years of military isolation and diplomatic frost. For the US, it's a gamble, a handshake with a country that calls Beijing its all-weather friend. The missiles will modernize Pakistan's aging F-16 fleet, sharpen its combat edge, and rewrite its air war playbook. But at what cost? Can America really afford to share cutting-edge technology with a nation that shares its secrets and sometimes its enemies with China? The deal is official. U.S. Department of War, formerly known as the Department of Defense, has approved a $2.51 billion contract with Raytheon, covering the production of AIM-120C8 and AIM-120D3 variants. Completion by May 2030. The fine print hides the real twist. The number of missiles heading to Pakistan remains undisclosed. The same contract also arms the UK, Japan, Germany, Australia, and Saudi Arabia. But only one recipient shares an open defense pipeline with China, Pakistan. And that makes this sale more than strategic. It makes it suspicious. The AMRAAM isn't just another missile. It's a hunter in the sky, capable of beyond visual range skills, locked with radar precision, and designed for dominance. The D3 variant is the sharpest fang in the family, extended range, enhanced guidance, superior countermeasure resistance. Once mounted on Pakistan's F-16s, it turns them into lethal predators over South Asian skies. For a country that still celebrates its 2019 shoot-down of India's MiG-21, this upgrade is both symbolism and substance, revenge with a memory. The roots of Pakistan and America's defense relationship go deep and often toxic. In the Cold War, the US armed Pakistan to counter the Soviets, flooding it with jets and missiles. When sanctions came in the 1990s over Pakistan's nuclear tests, the flow stopped temporarily. The 9/11 era revived the pipeline under counter-terrorism cooperation. But every time trust was built, Pakistan found a way to break it. Osama bin Laden's hideout in Abbottabad being Exhibit A. Now Trump's missile diplomacy appears to resurrect the old partnership, but under very different global circumstances. President Trump does not have much love to give when it comes to China, and yet Pakistan is China's closest military partner. Irony couldn't fly higher. Pakistan today is not the Pakistan of the 1980s. It's militarily dependent on Beijing. 81% of its defense imports come from China. Its jets, the J-10C and JF-17, are Chinese. Its submarines are Chinese. Its radar systems, missiles, drones, Chinese. Its war doctrine, shaped by Beijing's playbook. So when Washington delivers advanced US missiles to Islamabad, or for that matter Rawalpindi, those weapons inevitably enter a Chinese-dominated ecosystem. How long before Beijing gets a closer look under the hood? The risk is real, and history is proof. Reverse engineering is Pakistan's favorite sport, and China's an art form. From fighter jets to drones, Pakistan's joint ventures with Beijing thrive on imitation. Introduce a new missile into that environment, and you're practically inviting a lab inspection from Chinese defense scientists. Can the US really guarantee that the AIM-120 classified guidance technology won't be dissected, decoded, and duplicated by China? Washington knows the answer, but Trump's Washington seems to prefer the applause over the analysis. And that brings us to the politics. The sale follows a series of high-level meetings, Trump hosting Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir, Pakistan crediting Trump for mediating a ceasefire with India, Islamabad even nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. It's diplomacy in exchange for defense, optics in exchange for ordnance. The message is clear. Pakistan is back in Washington's good books. But what's unclear is whether it earned that place or bought it. Trump, ever the dealmaker, sees weapons not as tools of war but as instruments of influence. Selling missiles to Pakistan is less about boosting its air force and more about buying leverage. But in this chessboard of diplomacy, every move has a shadow. By empowering Pakistan, the US risks alienating India, its key partner in countering China and in strengthening the Indo-Pacific security architecture. Is Trump's State Department trying to balance the scales or blur them? Because from New Delhi's view, this looks less like peacekeeping and more like provocation. India has been silent about this development till now, but memories of the 2019 air battle linger. Back then, Pakistan used AMRAAMs to down an Indian jet. Now, it's getting a newer, deadlier version. The Indian Air Force, equipped with Rafales and S-400s, will adapt, but not without recalculating. Every missile that crosses Pakistan's inventory nudges India toward more spending, more upgrades, more escalation. The arms race in South Asia, already simmering, just found new fuel, stamped Made in the USA. Sharing advanced technology with a state that co-develops systems with China is like handing your rival a spare key. The AIM-120's algorithms, electronic warfare resistance, and seeker head designs are among the US military's most guarded secrets. Once those enter Pakistan's hangars and potentially Chinese labs, they're out of control, out of America's control. Can Trump guarantee that Pakistan won't share for support? Or is this another case where business trumps security? Literally. For Pakistan, this sale isn't just an upgrade, it's validation. After years of global skepticism, sanctions, and economic collapse, the US handshake restores its image. It allows Pakistan's generals to tell their people and Beijing that Washington still trusts them. It's psychological warfare disguised as diplomacy, and for the US, it's a double-edged sword, gaining short-term influence while giving long-term advantage to China's learning curve. China, of course, is watching closely. Publicly, Beijing will cheer for Pakistan, praising strategic balance and regional peace. Privately, its military analysts are salivating at the opportunity. Even limited access to AMRAAM hardware could reveal key data on propulsion, radar seekers, and guidance software, all of which could enhance China's next-generation PL series missiles. Remember, China's PL-15 already rivals the AMRAAM in range. Add some borrowed precision from American engineering and it gets even deadlier. So who really wins here? Pakistan, the buyer, or China, the observer? And what about the bigger picture? For decades, the US justified arms sales to Pakistan as a way to maintain influence. Yet every missile deal has come back to bite Washington, either through misuse, leaks, or geopolitical backlash. The 1980s Stinger missiles ended up with the Taliban. The 2000s counterterrorism aid was diverted to anti-India operations. Now, in 2025, the pattern repeats itself. High hopes, higher risks. Is this diplomacy or déjà vu? The timing of this deal also carries a geopolitical message. Just months after the May 2025 clashes between India and Pakistan, Trump pushed for a ceasefire, a move Islamabad eagerly credited him for. By rewarding Pakistan with missiles soon after, Trump transforms peace brokerage into arms brokerage. It's political theatre masquerading as strategy. But who benefits? Trump gets headlines, Pakistan gets hardware, and China gets data. The only loser might be the very America First doctrine Trump claims to champion. Critics within Washington whisper the obvious. Trump isn't selling weapons, he's selling America's security secrets. Every missile shipment carries a narrative of power projection, a promise of partnership, a price tag of political gain. But the fine print says something else, that the US is once again arming an unpredictable ally entangled with its greatest rival. The same playbook that once empowered dictators in West Asia is now back in South Asia, this time under a red, white and blue headline. Pakistan's military establishment couldn't be happier. The AMRAAM deal restores their global relevance and domestic dominance. It gives Asim Munir something to parade, Shehbaz Sharif something to promise, and Pakistan's defense industry something to boast about. But even as they celebrate, one truth stands stark. Pakistan remains dependent on China for weapons, on the US for validation, and on loans for survival. Missiles may buy power in the sky, but not sovereignty on the ground. And that's the paradox Trump's deal embodies, empowering a dependent state that serves two masters. The US wants Pakistan as a counterbalance to China. China wants Pakistan as a counterweight to India. Pakistan wants both, as long as the money and the missiles keep flowing in. But in trying to please both patrons, Islamabad risks becoming a liability to each. For India, the implications are unmistakable. A more capable Pakistan Air Force alters strategic calculations along the line of control. The Indian military will likely respond with rapid modernization, more Rafales, more Meteor missiles, and accelerated indigenous programs like the AMCA. The arms race spiral spins faster, stability slips further, and at the center of it all sits Trump's signature, a symbol of how one deal can tilt an entire region's security equation. The AMRAAM sale doesn't just upgrade Pakistan's firepower, it updates South Asia's fault lines. Every new missile sold reopens old wounds, reignites old rivalries, and reinforces the very volatility the US claims to reduce. Washington's weapons diplomacy has always walked a fine line between deterrence and disaster. But this time, the rope is thinner and the fall steeper. Ultimately, this isn't just a missile deal. It's a test of trust, of technology, of Trump's foreign policy philosophy. Can the US trust Pakistan not to betray it? Can it trust China not to exploit it? Can it trust itself to draw the line between commerce and consequence? These aren't rhetorical questions. They define the future of America's defense diplomacy in Asia. In the end, the question remains as explosive as the weapon itself. By giving Pakistan advanced American missiles while knowing its loyalty to China, has Trump strengthened America's hand or sold America's perspective to the highest bidder? Thank you for watching Statecraft.